Hey guys, it's Carl Brown from GuitarLessons365.com. I've got a really fun one today. We're going to learn how to do a ghost cover of the Genesis song, Jesus, He Knows Me. Now, I just heard this one a couple days ago, and it sounded like a really fun song to do. It's a great cover, and yeah, it's really fun to play too. So pretty simple stuff. So hopefully you guys will be able to follow along and get this done pretty quickly. Now before I get into it, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Ring the notification bell so you know it's a new video. You can kind of like and comment, and it really helps me out here with the YouTube algorithm. And if you really want to support what I do here on YouTube, I tell you the best way to do it is to get something out of it yourself and join my academy. You're going to see a link to that in the description below. My academy is all my courses. It's kind of a complete guitar school. You get access to the entire school, all the courses with just one subscription from that link below, which gives you a free 7-day trial too, that link. So you can check it out and make sure it's good for you. But we got all my courses covering a ton of stuff, from complete beginners to stuff for advanced players, all styles, different stuff, live streams every weekend, so you can ask me questions kind of in real time. So it's a lot of fun. Please go check it out. All right, so let's jump into this track. We're in D standard. So if you don't know what that is, it's a standard tuned guitar, but with every string tuned down a whole step. So the E is now a D, the low E. The A is now a G. The D is down to a C. The G string is tuned down to an F. The B string is tuned down to an A. And the high E is tuned down to D as well. All right, so that's what we're dealing with here. So get your guitar on that tuning, and then we can kind of start working our way through this. So we're gonna start here with this intro, which is just off of this. So you just basically hold the 7th fret there on the, now I'm gonna call it the low E string. We know we are tuned down a whole step, but I'm still gonna kind of refer to everything as if it's a standard tuned guitar, just to make it easy on us if everybody's just used to calling them E strings, A, D, G, B. So I know I am, so when I'm going through this, I'm gonna be referring to it as a low E string or A string or D string, but it's obviously tuned down a whole step from that. So here we go. So we're at the 7th fret on the low E string. So this is palm muted, and you're gonna start with just 4 hits. And then from there on, you're gonna do 7-hit groups. So there's gonna be 7 hits in each group. You kind of, and the way you're gonna wanna pick that is start with an upstroke when you get to the 7, since it's an odd number. So this. So the 4 is just down, up, and then up, down, up, down, up, down, up. So we have this. And then you just can kind of continue with the 7s. And then the last one, you're just going to hit a group of 3, and then go into the which is really the kind of the main riff of the song, which is the verse, which looks like this. So you kind of start with this hammer-on at the from 5 to 7 on the A string, and then you're going to hit 2 hits whenever you're playing the low E string. It's palm muted, so we're going to have this hammer 5 to 7, and 2 hits now on the low E, and then the 7 that we did before. So you can see that kind of equals the same rhythm as the intro, in that we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's the same timing as that little intro, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the 7. So it is. And then we have this little. So after you do that 7, we hit the open string again. Then you go to a 5-7, heavily palm muted on the low E string. And then hammer on, get back to the beginning here to start over. That hammer on from 5 to 7 on the A again. So this. So kind of just starting over point. So that riff continues, and there's a fill that happens at the end of it, right before the vocals come in. But then that fill happens every single time in this riff. So it's like, you kind of hear that. We're having the riff continue underneath it, like right, that's kind of at that part, as when that fill happens. So this fill is the D and G string together on the kind of double stop on the D at the 12th fret there. Then over to the 14th fret there on the D. Sorry. Then do that again. Just kind of doing that twice. I kind of, that second time especially, kind of bending those 12s down a little bit. So if you have two guitarists there, kind of working this out as like a two guitar thing. There's going to be a part in the kind of the interlude / solo section where there's more than one guitar playing, but I'm going to just break it down to like two really, because that's what most people are kind of limited to if they have their own band. That's a cover band that's playing this stuff. All right, now from so that's the verse riff that you're going to hear, and then we have this. They continue that riff. That riff is also the foundation of the pre-chorus. The difference here is there's a riff going on top of it as well. So it's pretty simple. We have the 7th fret across the D and the G, and the 10th fret there on the B. Now you're gonna kind of hear like the high string in there too. You can play that. I think what you're hearing is mostly just an overtone. So you can still kind of hear that note even though I'm not playing it. I think it's mostly just an overtone that you're hearing there. Or you can just play it. Usually when I play it, it just sounds like a little bit too much though. So I'm just gonna play it as 7th fret on the D and the G, a little bar, and then a 10th fret there on the B string. So you play those 3 strings, and then move it up. Slide up to the 9th fret, same shape. Gotta repeat that. That last one just kind of hit it once there when you slide up to the E. Now, so that is going over. So that's going over that riff. So I just kind of think when we start incorporating that, it turns into a pre-chorus from the verse. It just becomes a pre-chorus part because it's setting us up for the chorus, which is just this. All right, so that ending chord there, I'm kind of adding something that I think is being done with the keys, not really on the guitar. It might be done on the guitars. You mostly hear it on the keys. So that little part right there. But we're gonna do it on the guitar too, just in case. Kind of fills out the sound anyway. So it's pretty simple though. We have an A power chord. I realize it's it's a G power chord because of the tuning, but let's just call it an A for fun. So it's an A power chord there at the 5th fret off the low E. Then over to the 5th fret off the A string, that power. So kind of 4 beats, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then down the power chord off the 3rd fret of the low E string. Now here, when we go to the power chord off the third fret of the A, so the C power chord, that happens on the upbeat. So we kind of like, it's like this. It's the and of the 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 2. So that's the only one that's a little bit different. So they're all kind of held for a full 4 beats. Well, the first 2 are at least. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. And then that's held kind of like 4.5 beats. And this one's G's held 3.5 beats. So we have like this 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Let's repeat that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you gotta do that for a while. That's 4 times. So the 4th time, after this A to D here, we go up here and play this. Now here, it could be just an E power chord for the actual guitar part. I don't see any live videos of this yet, so, but there is a chord sequence that's going on in the keys at least, that's louder in the mix. And so the guitars could be doing it, but it's a E sus4 is a resolved to an E major chord. Sounds kind of good, just do it on guitar as well too. So what's going on there? Open E string, it's the very end of the chorus. Open E, 7th fret there on the A. Then you're gonna bar the 9th fret across the D, G, and the B. So get that going first, just an E major chord. But the first time you hear it, you're gonna hear it's gonna have the 10th fret there on the B, which is gonna make it an E sus4 chord. And then resolve it by just picking up that pinky to the regular E major chord. All right, so then it goes back to the verse, pre-chorus, same pre-chorus, and then the chorus again. So nothing changed. They play everything kind of the same way they did the first time through. And then we get to this little, I guess I call it an interlude section that happens before the bridge, little instrumental section. It's a little bit harmony work. And there's more than 2 guitars going on here, but I'm just gonna do the lowest part and what I think is the most essential kind of harmony part, which is mostly not, it's kind of a harmony of it, for part of it at least. So I'm not gonna cover, there's another couple guitars in there too, but I'm not gonna cover those. But so anyway, just what I think are the 2 main parts to play here that take us into the bridge. So it looks like this. All right, so pretty fun. So we're gonna start with these 3 hits on the low D. I just called it a D string. I just went against exactly everything I was gonna say. It's an E string, right? So the bottom string, hit that 3 times. And we're gonna have this little, you're gonna play the 5th fret for pretty much all these notes that you play on the D string, and then on the next one too, on the B string for the other harmony part. We're gonna kind of do a slight kind of bend and release, just slight. You're not gonna just give it a little inflection. That's it, a little emphasis. Then you're gonna go down to the 7th fret there on the A string after that. And then you're gonna kind of do the same thing, but the note on the D string is gonna be the 7th fret. And then back to the note happening on the D string on the 5th fret. So it's basically that. And then back to 3 hits on the low D, and then kind of that bend and release, the 7 on the D, and then the 5. So this. Okay, and then it's like you start it over again. So you get that far though. You don't do the ending. You don't do the fourth time through the lick. So after the third, so when you repeat during the repeat, the third time through after that part, instead of doing the ending, you're gonna do this. You're just gonna grab this E flat power chord and hit it 3 times here, heavily palm muted to the 6th fret off the A. And then jump down here to the 5th fret again. Kind of do a half step bend and release, kind of slower, and then hammer on 5 to 6 on it. So all together for the low part. All right, now the high harmony part looks like this. So I don't know if he's actually doing that, hitting the low E between each one, and then it sounds cool, so we're gonna do it. It just might be that lower one that's doing it, and then the higher parts. Which could very well be, but like I said, no live video of them playing this yet. So I'm gonna add the low hits in because I think it sounds cool. So we're gonna just do that little 3 hits on the low D there. And we're gonna be doing a kind of a slight, once again, emphasis on that 8th fret there on the B string, over to the 9th fret there on the G. And then 3 hits again. And then kind of that emphasis on the 10th fret on the B, over to 11 on the G. And then up to the 12th fret, we're gonna, and that's kind of that emphasis on the 12th fret, over to the 12th fret on the G. And then here, kind of hear that little lick that happens there. So we're gonna be back here at the 8th fret, on the 8th fret of the B, down to the 9th fret on the G, back to the 8 on the B, and then bend and release at the 10, and then a kind of a slight bend at the 8. So we have this. Then we kind of start the part over again, just like we did in the lower harmony part. And we get up to the 12s. And that's when I'm gonna jump over here, go different ending. And I kind of like adding that 11th fret there. But it just might be the lower harmony part doing that E flat power chord. But you play it, kind of match it here at the 11th fret real quick on the low E string. Like I said, that might be just something I'm adding. You don't really have to do it if you have the lower harmony with you. And then we're gonna do that half step bend and release at the 11th fret on the B. Release and then kind of hammer from 11 to 12. So when you get to both, or when you hit those notes, that's when that chord comes in that starts the bridge. So the bridge looks like this. All right, so that's gonna start here with this power chord off the 4th fret of the low E, down to the 2nd fret. Then that big E power chord, so that's the 7th fret there on the, that's the power chord off the 7th fret of the A. But you're gonna add that low E string in it. So we have this. Then you're gonna go through the chords again, except this last chord is gonna be different. It was back to the 4th fret there on the low E, and the 2nd fret, and then just back to the 4th fret. So that's the kind of the second time through. So that all together is one time through well, I guess the bridge chords, these first half of the bridge at least. So 4, 2, the big E power chord, then 4, 2, 4. Now let's repeat all that. All right, now from there, we're gonna do the end of the bridge, which just takes this chord and move it up to the 5th fret. Then down to the 4th fret, and then up to the 9th fret. Then you're gonna take the chord shape down to the 7th fret to end it, but it doesn't just play it, it's gonna do a little that little figure on it a little bit. So it's gonna be, you're playing across the B power chord, palm muting the low E string there, 3 hits on it, and then hit the 9th fret there on the D, and the 9th fret on the A without any palm muting. And then so back to the same verse, same pre-chorus, and then the same chorus again, except the chorus is twice as long. So you just kind of just repeat it twice. Remember that ending, that kind of sus chord to the major. But there's really nothing new. It just kind of repeats everything towards the end of the song. So that's about it. It's a really fun song to play. It's got a really cool riff in it. The main riff is really fun. And yeah, I think it's a blast. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you again soon for GuitarLessons365.com.